Hi guys, my name's Justin, and I'm going to make a video here speaking about being an individual and how to live your life to the fullest, basically. And first of all, I'll introduce myself. I'm Justin. I'm 21, and I'm currently living in Phuket, Thailand. And if you guys are wondering what I'm doing here, I'm here training Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu at Tiger Muay Thai right now. And this is the third time that I've been here in the last 3 years. First time I came here was 2011, I came in 2012, and now it's 2013. And in total I've lived over a year now, or it will be over a year, sorry. It will be over a year once I leave in March. Yeah, this is my third time here, and I've been here since, when did I get here? November 20th. I arrived. I left on the 19th of November, and I arrived on the 20th after about 28 hours of flying. It's a long time. That's a lot of flight. And yeah, I've been over here, I don't know what's the date today, I have no idea. Kind of lose track of time. It's the 4th of January, it's 2014, and I totally lost track of time. But I really wanted to speak to people about being an individual and how that will help you in life and how to achieve your goals and your dreams, because for me it was always about, it wasn't about, like, life to me is doing what you love to do, basically. I've never been a person to listen, I guess is a good way to put it. A good way to put it, like, I have a hard time being told what to do by others. Like, no disrespect to anybody, I mean, not to, like, my parents or anybody, you know, it's just the way I am. I don't like to be told what to do. And yeah, I was never really big fan of school growing up as a teenager. Me and school were just, we didn't get along very well because it was so structured. It was so, you know, we have to do it this way, and I just was not a fan of being told what to do. And it was, to me, it was very boring and not fulfilling whatsoever. And so when I got out of high school, I basically just saved all my money. I'd been working at a grocery store for, you know, about half a year, and just took all that money and I came to Thailand for about 3 months. Trained. I had about 4 fights, I think, in 3 months when I was here the first time, and I ended up winning all my fights. I thank God for that. And yeah, I was extremely successful at it. I mean, it wasn't easy. Like, it was the hardest thing I had ever done in my life. You know, I flew halfway across the world by myself. That was the thing. I didn't go with anybody. I was just like, peace out. Like, I left. I couldn't. No, I didn't wait for anybody. It's like, I'm doing this right now. And that's one of the things about being an individual, is you have to just go after things. You know, don't ever wait for other people. You know, because if I was still waiting for my friends to come, I'd still be waiting to this day 3 years later. You know, people talk, but people don't. People talk, but they don't tend to do anything. You know what I mean? So yeah, one thing about being an individual is you got to be willing to just go after your dreams. You know, they always say champions are they're the type of people that don't wait. Like, they always say, if you wait for the perfect moment, it's never going to come. Champions just chase, no matter what the situation is. They always go after what they want, and that's very true. Like, I could still be sitting at home waiting for that perfect moment, but it never really comes. You just sort of have to put yourself out of your comfort zone and chase what you want, and that's what leads to the next thing, is pushing your comfort zone. You can't live life in a comfort zone. You can, like, a lot of people do it, but if you really want to live life to the fullest, if you really want to achieve something, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You have to be willing to do things that, you know, you wouldn't normally be comfortable with. You know, like for example, just like, you know, the first time I came here, I came by myself with no real understanding of what was going to happen. I didn't know. I hadn't traveled my life. You know, I lived, you know, in Grand Forks, a small town in the middle of British Columbia, Canada, my whole life. This is my first real exposure to the world. You know, to be honest, you know, it's nerve-wracking. You're 18 and you're going to a whole different world, but it paid off. You know, I took that risk. I put myself out of my comfort zone, and I truly grew up as a person. You know, I experienced things that not many people will probably ever see in their life, and it was very rewarding. It was a very humbling experience. You know, it really is. To this day, I'm still benefiting from that first experience. You know, so I think that's one of people's biggest problems, is they don't want to go to their comfort zone, and that also has to do with just, you know, like people back home never want to be an individual, like in a sense they never want to stand out from the crowd, because if they stand out from the crowd, people are going to judge and people are going to think they're weird, blah blah blah. And that's another version of going like your comfort zone, is just being who you are and not caring. You know, I don't care anymore. Like, I like to call it high school syndrome. A lot of people are still living in that mentality, like we're in high school, you know, like we gotta be cool, we gotta be like everybody else. And a lot of people stay like that for the rest of their life. They think like we're still in high school. You know, and I don't blame people. I mean, we just got out of high school, and if we still think like that, yeah, it's acceptable. But the first thing you should do is get away from that mentality, thinking that every life is still like high school. It isn't. We're grown-ups now, you know, like I'm 21 now, and I could care less about what people think about me. And it's truly liberating, you know. Now I could go off and live my life, and I'm very at peace. I don't care what people think. And that's the first thing you gotta do, is just stop caring what people think. Get out of high school mode, just start living your life. And that's one of the comfort zones that you have to push, is stop caring about what other people think. Because once you push that, then you can start thinking for yourself. When you're still in the worried about being judged mode, you'll never think for yourself. You'll think like how people tell you to think. So push, you know, get out of that zone. Yeah, and that's the thing. Just don't really listen to yourself. You know, like what do you want out of life? Like who do you want to be? Okay, we all have dreams, we all have aspirations. Unfortunately, this world, society we live in back home tells us that that's stupid. Okay, it's stupid not to go for a career that you hate, essentially. Like everybody back home they're just chasing money. Okay, that's something you gotta realize too. Money is not a factor in life. Money is just paper. Materialism, it's nothing, man. Like, it's just some objects. Like, what does that mean? Nothing. Like, I could show you my room right now. I'm living in like a tiny, you know, 1-bedroom apartment with, you know, there's a little balcony and that's it. You know, so for me, I was blessed to know, you know, because I've been to Thailand 3 times, so I've been shown what living with nothing is like. And to be honest, it is so much better than having lots of stuff. And some people might think that's crazy, and I can understand, because I was like that when I was younger. But, you know, I've been really taught through my experiences that having lots of stuff really just meaningless, you know. Like, I could live here for the rest of my life and be happy. I don't need anything special, anything superficial. I don't need anything fancy. I don't need tons, you know, I don't need cars. I don't need money. I don't need a big house, anything. Like, and that's something you gotta teach yourself. It's like, do I really need a new Xbox, or should I focus on something more important, you know, like my health? You know, like, we just learn to appreciate the little things, you know, just people are right. Being a minimalist is probably the happiest you can be in life, because more money seems to bring more stress. More objects bring more stress, because then you're in more debt. Then you got to work harder to make more money because you keep buying stuff you don't need to impress people that you don't even like. That's a quote from Fight Club, and that's a really good quote, because for some reason everybody seems to want to please people they really don't like, and that's true. Like, why do you go to school? I mean, I'm not saying school is a bad thing, but a lot of my friends are in college right now for no reason. They're just there because their parents were like, go to school, society, go to school, everyone's going to school. So instead of being an individual, they're like, no, I want to do something else. They just go to school. Now they're, who knows how many $1,000s in debt, and they're miserable. They don't want to be there. They don't want to be an accountant. They don't want to be, this or that or whatever they're going for. And most of them don't even know what they're doing. They're just taking science courses or whatever, and they're just sort of floating around. My advice is, if you're in that state in your life where you don't really know what you're doing, is to try lots of things. Okay, like, don't be scared to go try new things. Like, if you're in school right now and you're not feeling it, just drop out and go and try new things. Go out, travel, go out, try something you've never done before. Go see who you really are, because like, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, who knows what you want from life? Like, we don't even know who we are yet. Like, we're in, it's a very confusing state of life, because everybody thinks that you should start young, you should get a career when you're young, so by the time you're older, you can have wealth, and then when you're in your 60s you can retire. But like, to me, that's just stupid. It's like, why not live life now and then worry later about money? And the thing, success will come when you do what you love to do, when you do what, like, if you do it from your heart, success will come. It's not going to happen overnight, but if you truly live out your passion, you will find success, and you will find a way to keep doing it. And eventually, one day, probably down the road, you'll probably find a way to make money from it. And it's not about money. Like, for me, it's not about the money. It's just about living life how I was supposed to live. Like, why was I put here? And what was my purpose? It wasn't to work some shitty 9-to-5 job. It was to really become the best person I could become. And then for me to make other people better people, to really help people. And I think that's everyone's purpose on this planet, is to really just, become the best they can become, and then make other people's lives better. Because how can I make other people's lives better if I'm miserable? Okay, I can't, because if I'm miserable, then I need somebody else to make me better, you know what I mean? Because I can't make people happy if I'm miserable. It's something I've realized. And yeah, I've tried, like, that's the thing, I've tried a lot of things in the last 3 years. Like, I've traveled a lot, I've done multiple different jobs, I've fought like 8 times, I've been all over the place. I've had a lot of experience since I've been out of high school. I just haven't stopped trying things, and now I'm starting to figure out what I want from life and what I don't. So yeah, that comes back to everybody out there who wants to really figure out who they are. Just, if you feel like it's wrong, like, then it's probably wrong. You can feel it deep down in your heart that what you're doing isn't making you happy, then why are you doing it? It doesn't make any sense. We're all here for a reason, and you might as well live your purpose. Life is short. Okay, so I'd like to just, I don't know, maybe this message can inspire one person, then I've done my job. Okay, I just want people to think, instead of being like everybody else, instead of listening to everybody, just, reflect for a minute. What am I good at? What am I bad at? What do I want to get better at? Who am I? And how can I just become the best person I can become? And just think about that, think about what you really want from life, and think about life. Life really rewards people who are courageous, and what I mean is, like, people who are willing to put themselves in dangerous situations are the ones that get rewarded. Trust me, the world works. There's a system in this world, and it truly does reward the courageous. Like, there's been a lot of times where I've just been like, no money, it's a really bad situation, and it works out. Okay, you just gotta be positive. You have to You just have to go for it, okay? No fear. I mean, you're gonna be scared, but just push through, you know? So yeah, I hope somebody can just take something from this video and, you know, just change their life. Even if it's not a drastic change, at least begin to change. Like, everything is small steps, right? Like, just taking small steps. And sometimes you can just quit everything and just go. So I mean, it just depends on who you are, and you know, my advice is just to drop everything and go. But even if you make small steps, hey man, it's better than nothing. So yeah, peace.